Hello Labradoodle puppy fans. This is a week 1 litter update for our celebration litter of Australian Labradoodle puppies. Hi, I'm Claire from Isle Labradoodles, and these little Labradoodle puppies are thriving, and in today's video we're going to give you an update on each of the puppies. We're going to let you know how they're doing in terms of meeting that first milestone of doubling their weight. And we're going to give you an update about Mama Cayenne. And we're also going to start talking about getting ready to welcome your puppy into your home and some tips on choosing a name for your puppy. Now, I still have my cold, so I apologize if during the video I'm coughing, and I'm sorry that I still sound congested. This is the cold that just keeps on giving. So these little puppies, as you can see, are all doing beautifully. Now, one thing I wanted to talk about was their colors. Today, when we go through each of the puppies, we're going to be able to tell you, for some of them, whether they are going to be red, if we think they're going to be apricot, and we'll explain the difference between that, and if they're going to be caramel. And we'll go through how you can tell that. But as a little bit of a spoiler alert, we'll show you purple color. And look at his pads. Those are clearly black. That means this boy is either going to be an apricot or red. So now Cayenne is doing beautifully. This is her first litter, but she's doing a wonderful job as a mama dog, and she's really quite fun to have as a mama dog. Now, if you've been following us on Facebook, you'll have seen a couple of videos and a couple of pictures where Cayenne has been digging this rug up. And she does that because that's instinctive. She's trying to keep her nest clean. But of course, because she's not outside and we don't really need to worry about keeping things all clean because we're doing that for her, what ends up happening is the puppies are on this slippery surface. We don't want the puppies on a slippery surface because that stresses their hip joints. Excuse me. So what we do instead is we give Cayenne some towels, and she can play around with them. And that way, that satisfies her natural instinct to be digging without compromising the well-being of the puppies. And so we always try to work with nature. And now that's one of the reasons why the puppies are here in our maternity ward and not out in the middle of our house. We do not feel that it is advantageous for mom or the puppies to be in an environment where everything is going on. This is a very critical time for mom and for her puppies in terms of their security and their calmness. This is already influencing your puppy and how your puppy will mature. So if we don't have a calm mama, then we don't have calm puppies, because everything mom feels goes right through to the milk bar, right into the puppies. So by being in this nice, warm, secure environment, Cayenne is able to relax, and you can see how she is completely relaxed here. She is absolutely resting. She has no concerns about her puppies. She's not worried that I'm in here. Nothing is bothering her. Now I'll tell you a little funny story, and if you are one of the lucky families on this litter list, we did something today. Cayenne didn't finish her entire breakfast when we were feeding it to her. And yes, we are feeding her by hand right now. That is what she prefers. After all, she is a very special princess. So we left it in here. And I'm going to post some pictures on the community page showing you how clever this girl is, how strong natural instincts are, and what she did when we did that for her. Then I'm going to tell a story about you. Cayenne's full of energy. Today she was out, she was running around, she's up and down, back and forth in the front. We have a fairly large area in the front where the dogs can go when they have their new puppies. And she was just racing up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, having a great time. And I wish that when I had had a baby that I felt that great, never mind having 7 babies, only a week later. She's back in full form and doing really well. And as you can see, we have everything in here all designed to keep the puppies close to her. So again, this is something else she doesn't have to worry about. the puppies can't go anywhere. They're not going to get lost. And if you see here, you'll see a little bit of debris on the pig rail. I left this here purposely for you to see, because this also helps to keep the area clean. When Cayenne comes in, she has to come in over this lip here, and that sort of serves as a doormat. When she comes in, there are 2 mats that she wipes her feet off on. Then there's an area that she walks through. But this kind of is where it rubs up against her tummy. Her paws often are on it. And then we just get a little bit more of the debris that comes off. And then it's really simple for us to just come in multiple times during the day, clean this up. And actually what we usually do is we vacuum in here a couple of times a day, as well as cleaning what we call the pig rails. And the other reason why we have these rails here is so that the puppies can't get back here and then crushed by mom. So the whole box, the whole whelping area, our whole outside area is all designed to work with their natural instincts and to keep everybody safe and healthy as much as possible. Now the puppies, what have they done this week? Eat, sleep, and that's about it. That's all they have as their job for the first week. Now you, if you are one of the lucky families on this list for one of these puppies, your job is now to start getting ready at home. So you will receive an educational video from us giving you tips and tricks as to how you need to get your home set up, things to think about, things to talk about as a family. So some of the things are, you want to figure out, are there going to be dog-free zones? Perhaps your kids aren't that great at picking everything up. If they're older and they have a cell phone, maybe they leave their cell phone around and their very expensive running shoes. Always the first thing that a puppy is going to choose to chew on is whatever is the most expensive item. Or perhaps if you're like me, you might have something you enjoy doing that is not safe for puppies. I'm a quilter, and so I have lots of pins, needles, other sharp tools around that, of course, I don't want a puppy to be near. So my quilting area is always blocked off with an X-pen. And that's actually even for our adult dogs, just because it's easy for a pin to fall off when I'm sewing and I might not notice it. And I don't want any dog to pick that up at all. So those are the sorts of things you want to start thinking about. The other thing you want to start thinking about is, is your dog going to be allowed on your furniture? All these things you want to take into consideration, but the main thing you want to figure out now is, what door is your puppy going to use to go to the bathroom? That's really key. You want to pick one, and you want it to be central. You want it to be easy to get to from where you do the main living in your day. You want it to be a door that's easy for your kids to open and close, yourself as well, and that it's fairly close to the area where you would like them to go to the bathroom. So those are some of the key points. You'll find more in the video about getting ready. And the really fun thing you can start to do now, let's start thinking about a name for your puppy. Now there's a few things to keep in mind when you're choosing a name. First and most important is the name has to mean something to you. Something that has some true meaning and that of course you love. Some people say it's harder choosing their dog's name than it was choosing their children's name. You want to avoid, if possible, really popular names. The reason we say this is because if you're out for a walk, let's say you're at the beach on Vancouver Island somewhere, and it's one of the times of year when dogs are allowed to be off leash on the beach, and you call your dog and your dog's name is, let's say, Lucy. And you go, hey, Lucy, come on. Well, you're going to end up with a whole host of dogs coming because Lucy is one of the most popular names right now. Other popular names are Bailey, anything that is Finn or Finn related. You can look up on Google and find out what the more popular name choices are, and then maybe just move away from those unless you're in love with it. If you love the name Lucy, call your dog Lucy. Just be prepared for that. When your dog has a distinctive name, it also really helps them be alert to their name. So right now we have Jojo, Juno, and Juniper all in our house. Well, they all have Jo as their names, So it doesn't matter if I say Jojo, Juniper, or who did I forget there? Juno. All three of those girls are immediately looking at me and think I'm talking to them. So it does tend to be something that makes it more difficult for your puppy to learn their name and distinguish their name from everyone else's if there is multiple dogs with the same name. Now, of course, you don't have multiple dogs probably in your home. However, when you go to puppy class or just when you're out socializing, that's where you're going to run into those kinds of issues. And if you have a name that is 2 syllables, it's great because then you can shorten their name. So for Cayenne, for instance, we call her Kai, Cayenne, Cayenne Doodle. Now those are not really shortening her names, but they're nicknames for her. I call her Kai Kai, I call her Annie, all sorts of things like that. And the reason why we want to have different names is so if I'm saying to her, hey Kai Kai girl, she knows that this is something happy and something good. Whereas I want to get her attention or tell her not to do something and I go, Cayenne, then she's going to know, oh, Mom's serious. I better listen and see what it is she's talking about. So all our dogs have multiple nicknames. Excuse me. And you will make a nickname out of whatever name you have. So let's say you did use Lucy. It could be Lulu when you were just trying to be friendly and get their attention and be in a happy mode. So and the other thing you want to do is have something really easy for your kids to be able to say. I use a lot of strange spellings. So Cayenne's name, for instance, rather than being spelled Cayenne, like the spice is, she is KY, capital ANNE. And that's just to distinguish it, and also because for our registered name purposes, for our breeding dogs, we need to be able to have something that's unique. But for you, having something that's spelled the normal way is easier for your vet, your trainer, your groomer, any of your important stakeholders and partners in your dog's life, for them to remember and get it right. It's just like when you're naming your kid. It's really fun if you want to call your child Lee, and there's a million ways to spell Lee. It just makes it harder for them later in life because they have to always spell their name. Even my name, when I was a kid, nobody's name was Claire. And even now, when Claire is a fairly popular name, people have myriad ways of spelling it. So I always have to spell it out to them. And never mind DeRoche. Nobody ever gets that one right. But that's a little bit of a different story. So those are the kinds of things to keep in mind when you're choosing a name for your puppy. All of this will be in your educational video that will be coming out. And don't worry that you don't choose a name immediately. You may want to wait until you find out which puppy is yours. You may want to wait until after the puppy family visit, or you may have something that you've thought of for ages and you just can't wait to use. Hopefully you all didn't have a lot of girl name choices because these are all except for Pink, boy puppies. But one thing I was telling one of my families in this litter is there is zero difference between a male and a female dog in terms of their behavior or their temperament. That is a myth and a long perpetuated one. There is no gender difference in dogs. And once your dog is spayed and neutered, they are gender neutral. They're very modern. So there is absolutely no need to worry if you get a boy and you want to call him Lucy. He doesn't care. He has no idea that he's a he or a she. And he doesn't care what name you give him. He doesn't care if you buy everything in pink and give him ribbons and bows. And vice versa. If you have a girl, she doesn't care if you call her Frank and you give her everything in blue. There's absolutely zero difference. What the difference is the basic DNA of the dog, their basic inherent personality traits. And from there, as you're raising your puppy, after you take your puppy home from Van Isle Doodles, what you're going to find is your Labradoodle is going to develop traits and characteristics that mirror you. I can always tell when I see one of our dogs who it belongs to. I may have forgotten, I may not even know which dog it is, and may not recognize my puppy on sight if I haven't seen it for a while, but based on its behavior, sorry, I can almost always tell whose dog it is, because dogs are a reflection of us. They do mirror us in many, many ways. So you're going to have a huge influence on what your puppy is like. We're going to influence it for the first 8 weeks of their life. We're going to match you based on what this puppy is showing us and how they've responded to our influences. And then you're going to take the puppy home, and then you're going to take that beginning personality and you're going to continue to mold it and have that puppy grow into a beautiful, wonderful, well-adjusted puppy. And we're going to give you all the tips and the support in order for you to accomplish that. So there's Cayenne. She says, well, that's enough of that. I need a break from my puppies. And since you're here, I'm going to just move over here and check things out. And what she's doing actually is looking at our little box that we put the puppies in when we clean up. We just changed the carpet before the video. So whenever we're cleaning in the box here, changing the carpet, we take the puppies, we put them in a box, and that keeps them out of the way and keeps them safe while we're moving things around. Now, one thing you've probably seen on the videos is this spray bottle that looks like it has nothing in it but water. But we have a cleaner that is 100% safe for the puppies. It is designed to clean and destroy any germs or bacteria that are potentially harmful to the puppies, but it is not a commercial cleaner that has myriad things in it that could be harmful for the puppies. The other thing we want is, I'm not a big believer in using a huge amount of antibacterial products because I want these puppies to develop immunity. I don't want them to be living in a bubble. I'm going to protect them and be alive to the fact of what their age is at, how their immune system has developed. But I want them to, right from day one, start to develop some natural immune systems. And that's the reason why some breeders, they will wipe their puppies' paws off, the mom's paws off, before they come back into the box. We don't do that. I don't do that intentionally because I want the puppies to be exposed to things that are natural. If they live here in a bubble and they don't go outside and they aren't exposed to outside, when they do, they're not going to be ready and prepared for that. So now let us update each of the puppies and let's go through and see who is telling us what color they're going to grow up to be. And we'll also let you figure out if they have or have not doubled their birth weight. Not all of them have, and I did not expect them to. There are 7 good-sized puppies here. This is Cayenne's first litter. She is doing fabulously. Everyone is gaining really nicely. I'm very happy with them, but I expect that for the ones that haven't doubled their weight today, they will easily have done it by day 10. So we'll do them in birth order, as we always do. And that means we start with Mr. Mint, and that's this little puppy over here. He's our firstborn puppy. So as always, we give him a little bit of notice that we're going to be taking him up. And there we go. And here he is. He is a pretty guy, very handsome. And we're just going to turn him over and show you his feet, and they're black. He has black pads, he's getting black lips, so he is going to be either red like Mama Cayenne. He's going to have a black nose once it fills in. Yes, you are. There he is, showing you where his lips are starting to turn black. Or he's going to be what we call apricot. So what's the difference? It's just in the hue. So when Cayenne was a puppy, this is what color she was. And we thought she was an apricot. She was originally registered as an apricot. But she has darkened over time, and now she is that beautiful, dark, rich red color that you see in Cayenne. She is watching me intently, and that's who I'm looking at off camera. She's making sure that nothing happens to her baby. And Mr. Mint weighs 444 grams. So he is 91% is how much he has increased his birth weight. Just shy of that 100%. Now keep in mind, I have weighed them this morning, and these guys were born at the end of the day, so They have time still to gain weight tonight, the rest of today. So my guess is that tomorrow morning when we weigh him, well, actually be in the afternoon, that's when we normally weigh them, he will have reached that 100% weight gain. Next is Mr. Blue Collar over here. Hello, Mr. Blue. And of course, you'll hear me, as always, talking to them, even though they can't hear a word that I say. Okay, and you're going to come back in and help? Okay, there you go. There's Mr. Blue. Oh, she says, yeah, I knew you weren't going to do it right. I better be here to supervise my babies. And Mr. Blue also has those black pads. So once again, he's either going to be an apricot or he's going to be a red like mom. I can see some of the darker shades in here already. So I expect that he's probably going to be red like mama. Mr. Blue is our, oh my goodness me, we better give you to your mom. He's our smallest puppy at 354 grams, and he has gained 80% of his birth weight, doing really fabulously. Next we have Silver Collar, who I think is just in here trying to get a snack. Maybe I can grab him just before he latches on. Oh no, he's already attached. He's going to be mad at me. There we go, buddy. Here we go. Here's Mr. Silver Collar. Mr. Silver is 407 grams. Oh no, Mr. Yellow. Mr. Yellow has lost his way. There you go. And you can see on his feet that we are getting some black pads as well. So once again, we have either a red or an apricot puppy here. And Mr. Silver is, as I said, 407 grams, and at 92% is how much of his birth weight that he's gained. He's got, you can see actually already he's got quite a bit of dark black coloring coming around on his face here, along with that pretty white markings. And he has the pretty little heart on the top of his head. Oh, honey, you're lying on top of your baby. That's not always the best plan. No, we don't tend to lie on top of that. No, that's a silly girl. Don't do that. Next, we have Pink Color, our one and only little girl in the litter. She's way back here. Come here, Pinky girl. There we go, Miss Pink. Now, Miss Pink looks more like a red girl because she's darker. She's not. She's going to be a caramel. Her pads are chocolate. So she is going to be a caramel. She's probably going to look like Papa Jack. So she'll be a red caramel. She may be as dark as Cayenne. She may be lighter. She may start light, go darker, or she may start dark and go lighter. We'll just have to wait and see. Usually by the time they're a year old, then you can see what color it is they're going to end up to be. Hello, Pinky. Miss Pink is 398 grams, and she is at 85%. So she's a little bit of a slower one. Yes, you speed it up there, baby girl. Next is Yellow. That was who was having the little cry there when he couldn't find his way back to everybody. Now Yellow, you can see, is a party. Now is he a red and white party or is he a caramel party? Well, when we look at his feet, they're all pink. We don't know yet. No signs yet. We can't tell. I can't tell by looking at his lips yet either. They're still all pink. This is very common when you have a party. When you have the white down near the leathers are their pads, their lips, and their eye rims, then you often don't see for a while. It takes longer for the pigment to come in. When I look at his nose though, I'm pretty sure that looks like it's going to be brown or rose. And with that coloring, then that would make him a caramel party. Okay. Oh my goodness, so much talking. Mr. Yellow is 419 grams, and he's at 73% of his birth weight. Red is our other party. I'm just gonna get from way back over here. Oh, goodness gracious, baby, come on. There we go. Come on. Excuse me. There we go. And Mr. Red is exactly the same. All pink feet and a pink nose. And I do believe that when I look, I think his nose as well is going to be caramel or rose. brown or rose, making him a caramel puppy. This is our biggest puppy in the litter at the moment. He is 499 grams and he is at 80%. That is a great job and a beautiful weight, a very nice weight, doing really well. And last but not least is our purple collar boy. Come here, buddy. And this little fella, he's going to round us all up, and you can see he also has black feet and a black nose that's already starting to fill in quite a bit. And Mr. Purple is 410 grams. He's got that pretty heart marking up at the top of his legs there too. Reynolds is showing me their weights because he's... Oh, those were yesterday's weights, he's telling me. That's why we have a little bit different. So those are not exactly right. Mr. Purple is at 90%. So what we will do is we will just quickly tell you that in order, Mr. Mint is 483, Mr. Blue is 370, Mr. Silver is 449, Miss Pink is 417, Mr. Yellow is 451, Mr. Red is 518, and Mr. Purple is 437. So that will mean that quite a few of them that were close in the 90 percentile there, they will have actually doubled their birth weight. So when I send you out your educational video, if you're on this litter list, then I will update that information for you and tell you who it was that did double their birth weight by week 1. But by the time you get that video, they will all, I'm sure, have doubled their birth weight. I'm not worried at all. Cayenne is doing just a fabulous job. So I hope you enjoyed the video today. Please, if you have a moment, take a moment to comment, ask any questions that you may have. It really helps us out in terms of YouTube's algorithm if you place some comments on the video. And if you don't have time for that, a thumbs up is always most appreciated. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you back again next week for week 2, and maybe we might have some eyes that have started to open. Thanks for watching.